Hi, I'm Dulcie. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who'd take her own parents to court, but life has a funny way of pushing you into corners you never expected to find yourself in. Growing up, my relationship with my parents was always complicated. Dulcie, honey, we're just looking out for your future, my mother would say, her voice syrupy sweet as she'd rifle through my mail. You don't understand finances like we do. My father would nod along, arms crossed. Your mother's right. That's why we set up the trust fund in the first place, to protect you from yourself. I'd been 18 when my grandmother died, leaving me a substantial inheritance. My parents had convinced me to let them manage it until I was mature enough to handle it myself. But I'm 25 now, I argued during Sunday dinner. Grandma's will specified I'd have full access at 25. My mother's fork clattered against her plate. Are you suggesting we're keeping something from you after everything we've done? That's not what Your mother and I have sacrificed everything for you, my father interrupted, his voice flat and measured as always. And this is how you thank us? With accusations? My friend Alex noticed something was wrong when I met her for coffee the next day. Her eyebrows knitted together as I stirred my latte absently. Earth to Dulcie, she said, snapping her fingers. You've been stirring that coffee for 5 minutes straight. What's going on? It's my parents, I sighed. Something feels off about my inheritance. They keep dodging questions, getting defensive. Alex leaned forward. Have you actually seen any statements? Documentation? No, they say it's all handled by their financial advisor and it's complicated? Alex finished my sentence. Too complicated for your pretty little head to understand? I nodded, a knot forming in my stomach. Dulcie, that's classic manipulation. You need to find out what's really going on. Later that week, I bumped into Miranda, my parents' longtime friend, at the grocery store. Her expression changed when I mentioned my inheritance. Oh, Dulcie, she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. I've been wanting to talk to you about that. Your mother. She mentioned using your funds for their new vacation home. What? That can't be right. They said that came from their retirement savings. Miranda shifted uncomfortably. I shouldn't be saying this, but they've been spending lavishly. The cars, the trips to Europe. On my inheritance? My voice rose, causing a nearby shopper to glance over. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I thought you knew. The way they talked about it at the club, I assumed you'd given permission. My hands trembled as I dialed Alex's number later that evening. Alex, I need your help, I said, my voice breaking. I think my parents have been stealing from me all these years. I'm coming over, she said immediately. And Dulcie, bring every piece of mail you've ever received about your grandmother or any financial matters. We're getting to the bottom of this. When Alex arrived, we spread papers across my kitchen table. After hours of searching, we found a letter I'd overlooked. A notice from the trust management company, concerned about irregular withdrawals and unauthorized signatures. Dulcie, Alex said softly, holding up the paper. The moment I walked into the courtroom, my mother let out a laugh and my father shook his head. Is that what you're afraid of? Them dismissing you if you confront them? I nodded, tears welling up. They've always made me feel small when I questioned them. Well, Alex said, her jaw set firmly. Let's see them laugh when they're facing a judge. The next morning, I called the trust company directly. The representative sounded confused when I identified myself. Miss Dulcie Martinez? But we've been trying to reach you for months. Your parents told us you were traveling abroad and unreachable. My stomach dropped. What exactly has been happening with my trust? I really shouldn't discuss this over the phone. Could you come to our office? Bring identification. 3 hours later, I sat across from Mr. Reeves, the trust manager, as he slid documents toward me. These are withdrawal authorizations, supposedly signed by you, he explained, tapping a finger on a signature that looked vaguely like mine. We became suspicious when the frequency increased. That's not my signature, I said, my voice trembling. I never authorized any of these. I was afraid of that. Mr. Reeves removed his glasses. Miss Martinez, your trust held just over $2 million. As of today, the balance is approximately $87,000. $2 million? I whispered, the room spinning. They told me it was around $300,000. Alex, who'd accompanied me, grabbed my hand. This is fraud, Mr. Reeves. What are our options? Mr. Reeves leaned back. You'll need a lawyer. I can recommend someone who specializes in financial fraud cases. That afternoon, we met with Lawyer Davis, a sharp-eyed woman with a no-nonsense attitude. So, your parents have systematically drained your inheritance over 7 years, she summarized after hearing our story. Do you have proof they told you the total was less than it actually was? Texts, emails, I said. My father always texted updates about my money growing nicely. Davis nodded. Good. What else? There's Miranda, Alex suggested. She heard them discussing the spending. Excellent. Witnesses are crucial. Davis scribbled notes. We'll need bank records showing where the money went. Just then, my phone rang. My Uncle Robert. Dulcie, what's this I hear about you investigating your parents? Your mother called, absolutely distraught. Uncle Robert, they've stolen nearly $2 million from me. Now, his voice took on that familiar patronizing tone. I'm sure this is all a misunderstanding. Your parents would never... They forged my signature, Robert. They lied for years. Your parents gave you everything, he countered. This fancy education, your apartment, paid for with my money, I shouted. Money my grandmother left me. Listen to yourself, he scoffed. So ungrateful. After everything they sacrificed? No, you listen, I interrupted, my voice steadier than I felt. They stole from me, and I'm going to prove it. You'll tear this family apart, he warned. Is that what you want? They already did that when they decided to steal from their own daughter. After hanging up, I looked at Davis and Alex, both watching me with concern. Are you sure you want to do this? Alex asked gently. It means cutting ties completely. What ties? I asked bitterly. The ones they used to control me with lies? Davis leaned forward. If we proceed, we'll need to file criminal charges. Fraud, forgery, embezzlement. Your parents could face jail time. Good, I said, surprising myself with my own conviction. Let's get started. Over the next week, we built our case. Miranda agreed to testify, though reluctantly. Your mother will never forgive me, she fretted during our meeting. Did she think about forgiveness when she was spending my money? I asked. Dulcie, try to understand. Your parents have always lived beyond their means, trying to keep up appearances. When your grandmother left you that money instead of them, that doesn't justify theft. No? Miranda sighed. It doesn't. I'll testify. Someone needs to stand up to them. The preliminary hearing was set for Tuesday morning. As I approached the courthouse with Alex and Davis, I spotted my parents waiting by the entrance. Dulcie, my mother called, her voice honeyed but her eyes sharp. Can we talk before this goes any further? Privately? Davis stepped forward. Any communication should go through me. Oh, please, my mother scoffed. This is family business. Family business became legal business when you committed fraud, Davis replied coolly. My father stepped forward, his expression pained. Dulcita, please. You're making a spectacle of private matters. Private? Like how you privately stole $2 million from me? My voice echoed off the courthouse columns. Lower your voice, my mother hissed. People are staring. Good. Let them stare. Let them see what kind of parents you really are. My father's face hardened. We gave you everything. Everything. And this is how you repay us? You gave me nothing that wasn't already mine. My mother's facade cracked. We deserved that money more than you. Your grandmother was spiteful, leaving it all to you just to hurt us. Davis placed a warning hand on my arm, but I shook it off. So you admit it? You felt entitled to my inheritance? We raised you, my mother snapped. Fed you, clothed you, educated you. That's what parents are supposed to do, I shouted back. It's not something special that earns you the right to steal. My father stepped closer. Dulcie, be reasonable. We can work this out. Return the small amount that's left, and we'll call it even. Even? I laughed incredulously. You steal $2 million and think returning $87,000 makes us even? We're your parents. My mother tried another angle, her voice suddenly pleading. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It meant everything to me, I said, my voice breaking. That's why this hurts so much. Sweetie, we're sorry, my mother said, reaching for my hand. We truly are. We got carried away, but we love you. I pulled back. No, love doesn't steal. Love doesn't lie for years. Love doesn't forge signatures. You ungrateful little... My mother started, her mask slipping completely. Careful, Davis warned. Threats won't help your case. Case? My father scoffed. There won't be a case. No judge will side with a child against her parents. Watch me, I said, turning toward the courtroom doors. My father grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. You walk through those doors and you're no longer our daughter. Sir, Davis intervened. Remove your hand or I'll have you arrested for assault right now. You'll regret this, my mother hissed as my father released me. We'll make sure everyone knows what an ungrateful, delusional daughter you are. The moment I walked into the courtroom, my mother let out a laugh and my father shook his head, as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. But the judge didn't seem amused by their behavior. All rise for the Honorable Judge Harriet Wilson, the bailiff announced. As we took our seats, I caught my mother whispering to my father, both occasionally glancing at me with disdain. But for the first time in my life, their disapproval didn't crush me. The evidence against my parents was overwhelming. Bank statements showed transfers to their personal accounts, luxury purchases, vacations, even a boat. The forged signatures were clearly not mine when compared to legitimate documents. Your Honor, Davis said, the evidence demonstrates a clear, systematic pattern of fraud spanning 7 years. My parents' lawyer, a slick man named Dawson, tried to paint me as confused and resentful. Miss Martinez misunderstood the nature of the trust. Her parents were authorized to make withdrawals for her benefit. Judge Harriet peered over her glasses. And how exactly did a yacht benefit their daughter? It was a family asset, Dawson fumbled. For family use? A family asset purchased with funds from a trust specifically designated for Miss Dulcie Martinez alone? The judge pressed. When Miranda testified, my mother glared daggers at her. Mrs. Reynolds, Davis asked, did the defendants ever discuss their daughter's inheritance with you? Yes, Miranda said hesitantly. They mentioned using it for their retirement and travel. Elena, Mrs. Martinez, specifically told me they deserved it more than Dulcie did. Liar! My mother shouted, jumping to her feet. Mrs. Martinez, control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt, Judge Harriet warned. The financial expert's testimony was devastating. In my professional opinion, this represents one of the most flagrant cases of trust fund misappropriation I've encountered. By the time the judge called a recess before ruling, my parents looked defeated. They approached me in the hallway, my mother's makeup streaked from crying. Dulcie, please, she begged. Drop the charges. We're family. Family doesn't do what you did to me, I replied evenly. We can pay you back, my father offered desperately. Monthly installments. It's too late for that. You'd send your own parents to jail? My mother asked incredulously. You sent yourselves to jail when you decided to steal from me. My father's face crumpled. I'm sorry, Dulcita. We never meant... Save it, I cut him off. I don't believe you, and I never will again. When court resumed, Judge Harriet didn't mince words. The evidence of fraud is irrefutable. The defendants systematically stole from their own daughter's trust fund, established by her grandmother specifically for her benefit. This court finds both defendants guilty of fraud, forgery, and embezzlement. My parents clutched each other's hands as she continued. Carlos and Elena Martinez, you are hereby sentenced to 5 years in prison, with possibility of parole after 3 years. You are also ordered to pay restitution in the full amount of $1,913,245.78, plus interest. As the bailiff approached, my mother called out to me one last time. Dulcie! Please, don't let them take us! I turned away, feeling nothing but a hollow victory. Alex put her arm around my shoulders as we exited the courtroom. Are you okay? She asked. No, I answered honestly. But I will be. Davis met us outside. The restitution order is excellent, but realistically, you may never recover the full amount. I know, I nodded. This wasn't about the money. A week later, as Alex helped me sort through my parents' house, now seized, as part of the restitution, we found photo albums and childhood mementos. Do you want to keep any of these? Alex asked gently. I looked at a family photo, all smiles and pretense. No, those people don't exist. Maybe they never did. What now? Miranda asked when she stopped by with coffee. Will you visit them? No, I said firmly. That chapter is closed. I'm starting fresh. Families are complicated, she sighed. Maybe someday. There's no someday, Miranda. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. That evening, as Alex and I sat on my balcony watching the sunset, she asked the question that had been hanging between us. Was it worth it? Taking them down? Knowing you'll never have parents again? I considered this, watching the colors bleed across the sky. I never really had parents, not the kind who put me first anyway. I had owners who saw me as an extension of themselves, a path to money they felt entitled to. So, what's next for Dulcie Martinez? Freedom, I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. Freedom to build a life that's actually mine. What would you do if the people meant to protect you were the ones who betrayed you most? Sometimes the only way forward is to leave the past behind, completely and without looking back.